All right, guys. So we're doing the Range Industries parking brake kit on the wife's JL. We got it up on the rack. Got the wheels off, got the spacers off, and as you can tell, this one was double drilled for 8 on 6.5 to 8 on 170. My biggest concern is going to be this clearance right here. I pray to God we don't have any problems, but we're going to find out. I'm going to try to do fairly decent quality install video, but we'll see how this goes. All right, guys. I went a little bit ahead and got some stuff installed. I'm going to go back and do a re-video on the opposite side, kind of more step by step. I ran into a problem on the driver's side and watch what it is. So driver's side, initially this actuator is in the upright position. With the JLs, whether if you have a long arm or short arm, I'm pretty sure this upper arm is going to get in the way. On the long arm, it definitely gets in the way. So what I did was I rotated the actuator in the downward position. I did lose a little bit of ground clearance, but honestly, the chance of a rock going in here versus having to cut the flange off and rotating the whole assembly is not going to happen. Luckily, I have two sets. So let me show you what it looked like initially. I believe this is, nope, that's the opposite side. This was the driver's side. So upright position, no matter what I tried, it was hitting there. Only way to get around it is cutting off the flange, rotating it in a position where it clears, or just flip the actuator the opposite side. So it's meant to be in this position. If I wanted to, I could lower it to this position right about here, but I'd have to oblong those back holes a little bit, just those two, and those two fit. I don't know if it's worth doing that and seeing where the motor sits to oblong it, or just flip the motor like I did on the opposite side. What do you think? So I did a little bit more work on it last night. I do need to slow down, so I think when I do the Tacoma, I'm going to try to give you guys more of a step-by-step process. I've been having a little bit of issues with the JL. As you guys know, I don't know if I mentioned in the other video, I kind of bolted it all up, flipped the actuator in a downward position, and it clears. The stock caliper is closer, so I'm hoping I don't have any problems with that. This is the direction I'm going, and I'm going to show you guys what and why. This is our speed sensor location. It makes my life a little bit easier. Let's go to the passenger side. What I did on this side was I rotated it one hole down, and in theory it should fit. It would need a little bit of grinding on the back end of this flange to clear. And this is the way that the caliper is supposed to come with the actuator. So it stays in the upright position, but it hangs way too far low in my opinion, especially with the aggressive offset wheels. It leaves it really exposed. So if this is the route you want to go on your build, you're more than welcome. I'm not going this route. I'm going to go the other route. I'm going to put it in the up position and flip the actuator. And some of you guys are going to ask, well, why can't you flip this is the opposite side, try different positions, or flip this in different positions? One, I tried a couple different positions. I couldn't figure anything out. But also my speed sensor's on this side. So if I rotate the caliper to this side, now I got to figure out a way to switch my speed sensor on that side. So I'm not a fan of it. So this is the direction I'm going. And I'll keep you guys posted on the rest of the build on how it goes. But when you purchase this product, because a lot of guys are also asking me was, hey, does the kit come with everything? No, it doesn't. The kit comes with the bracket and it comes with your wiring. You have to source your caliper and the actuator if you buy it separately. You can buy it as one piece from Rock Auto, eBay, whatever. But I bought it separately because it was cheaper. And the difference is on their website, they say of the different variations these calipers can fit, and that's based on your banjo bolt location. They have some that are here, they have some that are on the backside. So yeah, and the only thing you have to retain from your factory side are the studs for this, and you just push them out from there. On the next video, I'm going to show you guys that process, and right now I'm going to take apart the driver side, and I'll show you guys what I mean by flipping the actuator. We got the bracket from Range Industries bolted up. Make sure you guys use Loctite on those bolts back there. Sorry, the nuts. Once that's on, I decided to just get the hub on. JL specific, I was fortunate enough to where there's a secondary hole in here. It lined up exactly with my speed sensor, so I don't have to do any modification. Will's JL, we had to modify it a little bit because he's running a fusion axle, but it worked anyway. Just a little bit of work on the back end. As far as the pads, they do have an orientation. There's two detents on the outside. Make sure your sensor's on the top of it, so during rotation it pushes it inward if your brakes wear down. On the inside one, there's a single detent. I believe that's meant to go on this. I tried the double. It doesn't fit. It's too small. I did this one, which is that smaller one, and it fits right there in the hole. So make sure you guys put those on the right side. And when you go to put the caliper on, make sure that's aligned properly with that. Just so you don't have issues, because if you put this one on the inside, you're gonna have problems. I did a short video for Instagram right now, and I noticed when I was showing the orientation of this stuff, it doesn't really matter because you get the point. I had the pad on backwards on the inside one, that detent is. I showed you guys like this. Well, the pad's not on right, but you get my point. That locks into there, and that's how the pad is oriented on the inside piston side. Driver's side is all bolted up. All I gotta do is bleed the brakes, do the electronics. I'm gonna do the electronics tomorrow because I ordered some insulated wiring. I want to make sure both rigs are clean. So we'll do wiring towards the end of this install video on both rigs. What I did have to do is cut the studs down a little bit, running a wheel spacer, because it's a 14 bolt narrower than a Super 60. The newer 14 bolts are actually a little bit wider, but this is what we have now, running a wheel spacer. It is not an adapter, it's a spacer. Cut them down, shaved them, whatever. Did that. So what I want to show you now is what we're doing on this side. So we're going to bolt the actuator, which I did already. I'm going to flip it to the opposite side, show you where we drill and tap it to reverse it, specifically again for the JLs. The Tacoma should not have this problem because of the way the suspension's set up. And I believe the thread is, where's it at? 8 millimeter by 1.0. So I'll show what you guys are referencing to. It's hard doing it with one person. Unbolted off the vise, bolted it on this side. There is a seal that goes in here. I don't want to damage it, so I took it off for now. Initially, the actuator was in that position, having clearance issues. So I'm swapping it over to this side. As you can tell, there's no holes. Initially, it's that hole and that hole. So what we're going to do is do a hole here and do a hole here. All right, guys, back to the passenger side. Got the actuator drilled and rotated and tapped and whatnot. So referencing off the backing plate, pulling the studs out. Amy, come help Daddy hold the phone, baby. Pull the studs out of the old one. Make sure you orient this before you push the studs on. Push the old ones out. Push on the new one. Hold my phone. Thank you. Just hold it right there, okay? Thank you, love. So just put it in your press. So you got to do that to all four. Earlier I told you guys make sure you have the correct orientation before you press it on. Well, guess what I did? I didn't double check because I had that other side in a single orientation the way I wanted, and this was the side I didn't want the way it was set up. When I took it to the press, I left the studs where it was at instead of rotating it, and the whole thing was already assembled. So now I'm disassembling it just so I can get you guys an install video on this whole thing. Don't do what I did. Passenger side's done. These do come with boundary bolts, so I swapped them out for the ones that it came with as the same bolt pattern. I run all AN fittings because it works for me. You guys can run whatever you guys like. What I did notice in the JL's difference is that this side bolted right up, no problems with the sensor whatsoever. This side I did have to shave down the hole a little bit to clear the sensor. Should work. And yeah, and go from there. I don't need to show you guys how to bleed brakes. Hopefully you guys know how to bleed brakes. Once I'm done bleeding the brakes, I'm gonna get this thing up and running. I'm waiting for the wiring to come tomorrow. I'm gonna start working on the Tacoma and the brakes on the back of that. So we'll keep this video going. All right, so I'm getting a ton of guys that are asking me about this kit on what comes with the kit. When you order the kit from Range Industries, what it comes with is your bracketry, your hardware, your electronics, and your rotors. You guys need to source your calipers and your pads. And if you look at their website on the install instructions, It tells you what range of models and years it works for these kits. A lot of the difference we've noticed is just where your banjo bolt goes. So you got to figure out what works for you and order the kit. That being said, the kit from Range Industries is about $500, and that comes with this right here, which is a switch and a bunch of other stuff in here, hardware and rotors. So look into the website and see what works for you guys.
So now we're on the Tacoma. We finished the Jeep for now. Still have to get the electronics done on it, but I ran into some issues because the rotors that came for my truck, I put it on the wife's Jeep because of the bolt pattern. I just wanted that thing done. Come to find out the hub bore was different, so I had to swap it back out. The rotors that came with my kit, I ended up keeping them. Gave her her rotors. I just re-drilled the 8 on 6.5 to 8 on 170. I did want to slow this down for you guys, but it is taking a lot more time to do this whole content and show you guys reviews and installs. So I'm gonna do the best I can, and hopefully this video helps a ton of guys out. It's not that difficult to get to this point in the build. I already had my backing plate cut off when I did the 1-ton stuff because I wasn't planning on using it. I just gotta pull my hub off real quick, pull the backing plate off, press my studs out, and then I'll show you guys as far as the rotation and everything on the new bracketry. Let's go to the kit, just show you guys what comes with the kit because I have it laid out. Here's the kit from Range Industries. When you purchase it from Range, it comes with your bracketry, your hardware, your electronics, and your rotors. You guys do have to source your calipers and your actuators and your pads. If you go to the website and you go on the install instructions, it does tell you what range of years and models they work out of. That's all going to be dictated on how it works on your build. The biggest difference we did notice are the banjo bolts. So see what works for yours, and hopefully you can order what would work for your build.
So we got the factory backing plate off with the studs. Don't ask why it looks like that. It's an older build. Got both brackets here. They're the same pattern, essentially in the same position. So what you do is you just put it on, figure out the position. That's what I do. Probably get the install instructions to be a little better. Oop, there we go. My camera quality isn't the greatest, but make do the best what we have. So that's the positions. We'll slide the studs in, get it pressed in, and get going on this part.
We got the backing plate bracket on, got the rotor on, put a couple lug nuts on it just to hold the rotor in place, got the caliper bracket on. I referenced earlier in the other video, make sure these are in the correct position. The outside ones are the 2 detents. The inside one is a single detent, and that detent rides on the calipers pin right here. Sometimes these do come rotated, so make sure when you guys put these on, you check the orientation on them. They go on fairly easy. Slide it in the upright position. See if I can do it with one hand. There we go. I can't get it. There we go. I can do it with one hand. This is the actuator's original position. I didn't modify that, didn't change that. This is the way that this kit comes. I didn't have to do it like the Jeep where I had to modify a bunch of stuff. As you can tell, the Tacoma has a lot more clearances. That's the old caliper. That's the new one. I know a lot of you buggy guys are trying to save some weight. People did mention using these as cutting brakes. You possibly could just wire them individually, but these are a lot smaller, a lot lighter, and they do go on an all-electric EV vehicle, which I believe is like 6,000 to 8,000 pounds. So I'll be giving them a test run to see how they run.
So this is the wiring I ordered. Will showed it to me. Keeps stuff a little bit clean. And I also ordered a switch. It's a reverse polarity. So when you get the kit, it comes with these instructions for your calipers, your actuators, how to wire it on the reverse polarity switch and on their fuse breaker. And that's so you don't overload the actuators. That's the switch it comes with. I'm a little picky. I'm not a fan of it. It is what it is. You look at the back of it. So order this one. I think it's a winch one. I ordered a new cover for it through another company. Hopefully it fits. We'll see what happens. Not even entirely sure if this will work for it, but we're going to try. So I'm going to wire everything. Make sure when you guys do this, you wire it correctly. It has everything on their instructions. So stay tuned. All right, guys. So in the last segment of the video, I showed you guys the harness and how it's ran. I'm finally getting a chance to take a video of the Tacoma. We did use it on the Rubicon, and I have been driving around. I love the parking brake. These videos are taking a little bit longer than I expected to record them, so I'm probably going to be doing a part 2 on these videos once the wife's is done. But I wanted to show you guys how it was ran. The soft lines I am going to change. I'm going to run it from up top. I'm not happy with this, but don't have time to change it right now. This is the left side. You go to the right side, same thing. And the left and right side, you have to junction it together and take it inside. If you want to do individual sides and do like cutting brakes, then you can run them individually to separate switches. I ran them inside. Right now it's disengaged. I ran it on my own switch. I don't like the switch that it came with. So to engage the parking brake, hold it down, listen to it. About 5 seconds, it's fully engaged now. If you want to disengage your parking brake, just opposite side. If you guys want this switch, it's on Amazon. It's a reverse polarity switch. They use it on winches and a couple other different platforms. But yeah, it's on Amazon. It's like 20 bucks. You guys can get it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put the tripod down. I'm going to show you guys the different variations on how the parking brake holds. I'm going to do rear wheel drive, and then I'm going to throw it in front digs and see how well it holds. So I zoomed out in this video. I don't know how great it's going to work, but I'm by myself, so we'll see how it does. Front hubs are locked. The rear parking brake's currently off. I'll show you guys right now. If I can find my keys. Fully disengaged. Let's lock it up. Parking brake is engaged. That's rear wheel drive. That's double low. Oh, that's single low. And that's my foot. This is my foot off the brake right now, and single low. Let's try double low. That's double low, which is a 12-to-1 ratio. Let's see if we can tighten it up a little bit. That's pretty much all the way. Back to single low. That's single low, which is a 4.3-to-1 with 5/38. Front digs. This is on front. So that's pretty good. This is fully aired up to 30 psi, just in pavement, well, concrete. Let's go to just regular rear wheel drive. Regular rear wheel drive. Now parking brake's completely off. So I mentioned to you guys, this is a parking brake. It's not intended for cutting brakes. Could it work for cutting brakes? Potentially. Maybe with a little bit more pressure. But it probably wouldn't work as well as regular cutting brakes. But if you guys want to try it, you guys are more than welcome. Thanks for watching.